Welcome back to Fujitsu Forum TV, where we continue to bring you live and exclusive coverage of events here at Fujitsu Forum 2019. We are going to continue on our commitment to bring you insight around the key challenges affecting both business and society right now. Technology is amazing. It's got the ability to solve genuine problems and moreover, unlock tangible value. Next, we're going to look at financial services. There's a sector going through much change at the moment. Some of that's forced on by regulatory oversight, some of that's digital disruptors hitting the market, but there's a lot of complex change happening. One of the rising topics is around automation and how that can actually evolve industry. I'm delighted to say, joining us to help us understand more about this insightful topic, Wilhelm Petersmann, Head of Financial Services, Fujitsu Central and Eastern Europe. Business automation is the ongoing major task for business right now. But I mean, why is it? Most of that's solved by digitalization, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a very interesting topic at the moment. First of all, you have to understand the pressure which is in that industry. You know, banks, for example. Yeah, honestly, I'm happy to be in the IT industry. I don't want to be in their shoes. Yeah, if you can imagine. If you boil it down, a bank, in a very simple way, has two core pillars. One is credits, okay? So credits, somebody is bringing money to the bank, somebody is borrowing money from the bank, and the difference in the interest is giving them a decent business, huge. But now the disruption is coming, yeah? Some things like crowdfunding, direct lending are really disrupting this traditional business and putting it into danger, yeah? Another pillar, the second pillar, if I may say so, simplicity, in simple, is payment transactions, okay? So a bank earns a fraction of a cent or, really a small amount of every transaction which has been performed in their payment systems. That sounds not much. But if you think about that a bank has millions of transactions a day, then you can imagine that's a huge amount of money which they earn. So now we have cryptocurrency, yeah? Fintechs coming up, modern payment methods like transfer from one mobile to another mobile, yeah? Apple Pay, Google Pay, all those intermediates which push banks away, they put this source of money for the bank in big danger. But do you think insurance companies are better off? I don't think so, really. Yeah, because at that time when we had high interest rates, they could cross-fund their core business of policies. Now with this low interest rate, and I think the low interest rate will stay still another 5 up to 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my prediction. Yeah, so they are not economically not anymore in the position to cross-fund bad policies.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big problem. The cost-income ratio, which is the important parameter for every insurance, is going nuts. It's going down. Yeah. Again, some insurance branches suffer also from that very low interest rate, like pension funds, like life insurer, because they can't get really value for the money. Yeah? And there's a big turmoil going on. If you think about the new generation, young people are more on the idea of sharing than of owning. So that means, for example, for car insurance, that people do not sign a 5 years policy contract which creates a volume of whatever thousands euro. They sign an event. They insure a trip, a journey, a certain, let me say, circumstance. That means they sign just small pieces. I recently had a discussion with the chief digital officer of a very big and I think well-established Swiss insurance company. And they have internal predictions that the volume of car policy premium will go down by 70% until 2025.
Wow.
Can you imagine that cost pressure of that business? You sit on your cost block, but your income is going away. And the same is for the banks. You know, they have overcapacity, being at the branches or being in the back offices. And they are also hit by this low interest rate. They have to find new concepts. They have to do business automation, business performance optimization things.
That brings us on nicely to, the role of BPO. What's the major focus, do we think, of BPO right now?
Well, I think business optimization or business performance process optimization is a thing which must adopt the new and upcoming needs constantly.
Right.
If you do it just once, it's not a single activity, you know. You have to do this repeatedly, constantly, yeah? And because this is a constant task, you have to apply some, let me say, methodologies or recipes, simple said. For example, a business automation model would help, you know. This is a model which describes how enterprises use, establish, modify, retire their processes and the associated apps. Yeah? I think it's very important that for this they also try to use as much as possible IT building blocks. Yeah? Because otherwise, if you try to do this, you will end up in, let me say, complexity which you will never manage.
How would you assess processes and apps right now?
Well, I think this is in different state, yeah, different states. I think the state of the common application landscape is in modernization, in retirement, in consolidation, which gives, let me say, quite some challenges for the IT departments. Yeah? The IT departments, they struggle in that, let me say, speed of change. Yeah? They have to consider what they can deliver themselves and what they really should buy as a service. I think the key is that they go into much more digital co-creation. Digital co-creation is important for them because they have to think about the smart digitalization strategy together with business leaders and IT leaders. If you don't tie this together, this won't work. And as I said, this is a continuous process. Let me give you an example on this. Yeah? A Russian bank has decided to automate the payment process at the food store of a high school. Why are they doing so? Because they've seen there are queues, there are unhappy customers because of the waiting time, and they tried to get new customers, young customers, into their customer base. So they offered to those students who had a bank account with them, they offered a smart solution based on Barnveen recognition, a very secure thing, to do the payment. So this was implemented successfully, was really great, yeah? But then they decided from the management that they will go a step further. They will set up quite, let me say, new, untraditional, new outbreaking relations with their customers. They are collecting data of the nutrition, of the health of the food, giving them reports on what they could do better, how they could gain more healthy state. And with that, they immediately jumped into a much deeper relation with their customer, which then resulted in better customer retention. So this example shows us that digitalization takes place in steps. Business automation often gives the opportunity to do more and newer outbreaking ideas and more business optimization. That's a really, really good thing, yeah?
Over the last couple of years, I've interviewed a lot of people for Fujitsu, and there's been a common narrative, the challenge around the IT team and the boardroom, whether they're working together enough. How would you assess the landscape within financial services holding up to skilled business people?
Yeah, I think so. the challenge really for the CIOs and CTOs in banks and insurances is that their customers are constantly demanding for new service, digital services. Normally they have decreasing IT budgets. They really have to cut costs at, let me say, run the bank, yeah, to innovate, to do fancy things, to attract more customers and to bring in new services. For that reason, they also need a lot of special skills. Yeah, you know, if we are talking about transformation patterns, there you see some things like AI, you see some things like robotics, process automation, you see chatbots, you see digital annealer. I give you an example later what digital annealer can do for us. This very expensive skill set cannot be held within one customer. Yeah? I think the beauty of our industry is that we provide value to those customers by providing business agility, by providing cloud services, by providing IT building blocks, which help them to gain agility. And agile state, you only can reach agile state of an IT if you simplify the underlying IT estate. How do you get there? If you take modules, if you drive the organization towards an API-driven organization, open up the systems. That's really the corner point. We see a lot of customers who struggle to get there, yeah, and we have a methodology. It's called digital co-creation, where we also apply some, let me say, workshop techniques like Active 8 to drive that innovation, yeah, to really get the best out of business, IT, and the future business thought where they want to go to, yeah. Some examples for real, in my opinion, real good, brand new business automation is the advantage of digital annealer. Digital annealer is a, let me say, pre-quantum computing technology. Why is this that good for banks and insurances? You have to imagine, I'll give you an example. We've done a proof of concept, a pilot with a German customer, and I can name this because it's an official reference, which is called Commerzbank. Yeah? And they are dealing with asset-backed securities. So car vendors often sell their lease contract obligations from their customers to investors. That means banks like Commerzbank, they collect those debts, yeah, bundle it to a decent product, financial product, and bring it to the market.
Right.
The performance of that product is strongly dependent on the composition of different risk factors. You have to imagine that, for example, the size of the contract, the duration of the contract, the geographical, let me say, distribution, the overall volume, gender, male, female have different payment attitudes, and also regulatory requirements. So this is a massive combinatoric analysis which you have to do. Normally you do this with Monte Carlo analysis to give that product a risk profile. With common techniques, this risk assessment or risk processing takes 2 hours up to 8 hours. It depends on the size of that portfolio. With the digital annealer technology which we provide to the market, it goes down to 1.2 seconds.
It's a big difference.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But now, the impact. Can you imagine if a chief risk officer of a bank or of an insurance company can do intraday risk assessment just by pushing a button? That's value. That's really value of business automation and business process or business performance optimization.
Fantastic. We have run out of time. I'd love to hear more about the
Sorry.
Commerzbank example. No, not at all. I dare say there's a few questions you might have around those examples that William's just provided. Hashtag Fujitsu Forum TV on any of our social channels, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You can pop them all on there and we will get you connected. Next, we're going to be talking, what time is it? In about 14 minutes time, we're going to be back talking to Fujitsu's global delivery team. For a global company like Fujitsu that provides so many services around the world, it's sometimes quite challenging for customers to comprehend what Fujitsu can and do deliver. Well, Helen Lam is coming back to talk to us. She was with us earlier, of course. She's going to come and help us understand what's been going on in the last 12 months, and we're going to try and simplify the story for you so you can understand why the global delivery capability of Fujitsu is a strong message and something you absolutely should be aware of. Stay with us, plenty more to come on Fujitsu Forum TV.